The important is to have spotted the heart of the remedy, to have understood the heart of the remedy. Once you have understood that, you will recognize it in the patient as he talks with you. Now, seeing the essence of remedies in this way, can somebody tell me what would be the essence for arsenicum, album? Restlessness, Insecurity. Insecurity. You must have read the paper that Bill sent you. No, I don't want such information. Yeah. I see. Which paper I have not sent them? With Mercury? Mercury? You have not sent? Yeah. That was good, yes. Okay. Okay, you got me. Okay, you tell me, what would be the essence of Mercurius Solubilis then? Mercurius Solubilis. Distraction. Who said slow? Slow? Slow, sluggish, retarded. Impatient. Irritableness. Perverse. Okay. We have to find something that the whole of Mercury can revolve around this idea. There is lack. You can determine it like that. Lack of reactive power, coupled with instability. I mean, meditate upon these ideas. Lack of reactive power, coupled with instability. What we see, what we know about from symptoms from Mercury are symptoms like he doesn't feel well in cold weather, neither in hot weather. What does that mean? That the organism is very slow to react to the stimulus. Very slow. Until it comes to the point where it has balanced itself. That means he feels cold and he puts on clothes. Then takes long time. Once he comes to balance that, immediately steps over and he feels too hot and must uncover. So you see the instability and the lack of reactive power. Some the organism which is healthy will react immediately. He goes out into cold weather, will raise the temperature of the body, and he will feel comfortable in the cold. Then he goes into a hot room, will lower the temperature, will feel nice in a warm room. Mercury patient is going to suffer in both situations. So he's slow to react. That is why when you get a mercury patient, it will be very difficult to elicit symptoms from him. You will be asking him questions, and he will take long before he can think and answer you. And as we understand that this lack of reactive power makes him sensitive to everything. He's exposed to every stimulus. Every stimulus can move him, can do harm to him. He cannot readjust. It is like the mercury on the thermometer. You know, apply a little bit of heat or cold, and you will see immediately moves up and down. So the idea of instability and the idea of weakness in the defense mechanism. That is why when you have discharges which are offensive, which are taking long years discharges of long, steady, offensive, we think of mercury. Because there is no a real force to bring about an abscess, to make an inflammation and throw it away. It keeps on and on and on and on, and then it spreads, bigger and bigger. You see, then they say in the repertoire, spreading ulcers. What is spreading ulcers? That means there is no reactive power, and the organism is at the mercy of the tumor, which is spreading and spreading and spreading, and then there is decomposition. That's why we have this very offensive perspiration, offensive smell on the discharges of mercury. I mean, think what it stinks mostly. It's a corpse when it's down there's no reactive power, and from within 3, 4, 5 days stinks a lot. Why? There is no reactive power. If there was reaction, the smell would be gone. How many hours? 1 hour must live. No. I don't think we take a break. Then, in mercury again, you have a perspiration, which is something that relieves usually the individual. Mercury cannot take up this change, and he feels aggravated even during perspiration. He's aggravated naturally from exertion, cannot exert itself. And you will find very few ameliorations with with Mercury. What is the biggest amelioration for Mercury? Anybody tell me? There are very few symptoms in the repertory which say Mercury is ameliorated. What is? Motion. No. Consolation. No. Now, I want to think you. I don't want to look in the repertory. I want you to think. I mean, sleep. Lying down. Mercury is ameliorated by lying down. If an individual will tell you, I'm always tired, I cannot do anything, I just want to lie down, then think of Mercury. Of course, there is another remedy, which is ameliorated by lying down, and you all know it. Which is? Sulfur, no. Sulfur is aggravated by lying. Bryonia, no. Serine, no. No. Huh? Manganum. But the manganum is not ameliorated. Rather, the mercury is not ameliorated so fast as the manganum. The manganum, it is something you can't believe. It has a colic pain, tremendous. I mean, it tears into pieces. Lies down, it disappears. It's quick, the amelioration. In mercury, the amelioration is there, but it will be slow amelioration. And in mercury, he likes to lie down. In manganum, lies down in order to be ameliorated. Whether there is a cough, whether it's a kidney colic, whether it is a intestine colic, whether it is a headache, he will lie down and he will get relief. The manganum, immediately. The mercury wants to lie down because that is the position he feels his reactive powers are quite comfortable with. It doesn't have to do much work. See also, I mean, you go to the repertory and you see in the repertory, for instance, weeping alternates with laughing in Mercury. I mean, how you would imagine now that could happen? Because Ignatia has that also. And how, just by one symptom, would differentiate if the person says, I come to times where I laugh, I had a nervous laugh, and then it turns out into crying. Even by one symptom, you have the possibility to differentiate one remedy from the other. I mean, we know Ignatia, how hysterical it is, how quick is in acting. So you would expect that laughing and weeping in Ignatia, it is a hysterical affair where she laughs, and then suddenly breaks down into crying. This has the element of hysteria, and it's going to be a very quick affair, very quick alternation of moods. So Ignatia has alternation of moods, quick alternation of moods, and this hysteric thing. With Mercury, it's another affair altogether. Though in the rubric, it might show the same thing. With Mercury, it will be because he reaches a stage where he loves, and it is as if his defense mechanism cannot control and cannot find equilibrium. cannot find the equilibrium nowhere and passes on to laughing. It will be much milder, this whole process, than what will be with the Ignacia. I just remembered the instability of Mercury, the idea of instability, which can be physical, just to remember it. I mean, I told you the thermometer that comes up and down with the little changes but break this thermometer, let the mercury lie on the table and try to catch it. You see, it's completely unstable. You catch nothing. Now it is this great sensitivity to external stimulus and lack and the feeling of inability to react to the external stimulus that we'll read in the repertory another rubric which says he reaches into a stage where he feels that everybody is his enemy. Everybody is his enemy now. I mean, he has been so weak to react and to cope with the situations. And finally comes to the conclusion, when that comes into the mental stage, that this is a situation where everybody wants to do harm to him. Everybody is his enemy. Now, the weakness and the feeling of inefficiency in reaction will lead him to a state where he will have impulses. I mean, a person will have impulses to react, impulse to smash, impulse to kill somebody. When it's suppressed for a long time, it doesn't feel able to cope with the situation, then it comes to a point where this inability to cope is expressed by an impulse. So we have in the repertory symptoms like impulse to kill. But argentum nitricum is also impulsive. But it's another kind of impulsiveness altogether. The argentum nitricum impulsiveness will be manifested very easily, and it will be an extrovert. Mercury will hold inside these impulses. There is impulse but there is little power to manifest these impulses. And therefore, it will be difficult for them to express it, and difficult for the doctor to get the symptoms. To make a Mercury a patient that many times he has impulses to kill even his children, that people that he loves very much. Huh? Yeah. Another characteristic of the instability and the lack of the power to react is the trembling, the tremors that are evident in a Mercury patient. I'm not going to teach you materia medica, but I try to give you ideas behind which you can revolve your thinking.